So I've had these USB-C AirPod Pros for just over 3 months, been using them pretty much every single day, and have definitely clocked in well over 250 hours of use. Here's everything I do and don't like about them. First thing I do like is how ridiculously comfortable these things are. The shape allows them to fit really easily into your ears, and because they are so lightweight, you can leave them in for hours and pretty much forget they're there. This is thanks to the AirPod design, which I've come to appreciate over the last few months. Another thing I was surprised at is just how sturdy these things are, despite that lightweight design. I've dropped my AirPods way too many times, including a particularly high drop from an indoor balcony, but they still work perfectly fine. I'll get onto the case a bit later in the video, but from a build quality perspective, the AirPods have definitely exceeded my expectations. However, there is one significant design flaw which kind of makes me regret keeping these $250 earbuds. Exercising with AirPods, and I'm talking about specific dynamic movements like running, skipping, box jumps, etc. It's just not happening. Apple's advertising seems to suggest that these are cool for working out in, but they definitely aren't that secure and will start to fall out of your ears if you move around too much. I've tried changing the ear tip covers, checked forums for the best ways to wear your AirPods, but nothing really works. Of course, you can buy a set of third-party ear tip covers, and I'll leave a link down below to a set you can find on Amazon, but to be honest, earbuds at this price point should not be falling out of your ears. Having said that, obviously I did end up keeping them because they are just so good for a whole bunch of other reasons. Moving on to the case, in 2023 brings USB-C to the Apple ecosystem, meaning these can now be charged with the universally used USB-C cable. Personally, I think that's a great move. I know I've seen some people complaining that the USB-C connection isn't as secure as the Lightning connection, meaning they found their cable would sometimes fall out or something, but personally, I've never experienced anything like that, and I love that I can use one cable to literally charge everything I own, regardless of what brand it is. Another thing I really like about the case is how well the AirPods fit inside them while charging. With some other earbuds, because of the more shallow charging insert, I found that they weren't always charging even if they were sat inside the case because the charging pads just didn't align properly, and I've never had that problem at all with the AirPods. Now, one really big problem I do have with the case is the glossy shell. It gets scratched badly by absolutely anything and looks pretty messed up after a while. I know it's purely an aesthetic issue, but for this price point, I definitely prefer a more matted out case like the one that comes with Sony's earbuds. And for this reason, it's basically essential to have a case for your case, like this one that can be found on Amazon, but I do think it's pretty shitty that you have to buy extra accessories on top of spending $250 for these AirPods. I might also be being a little bit picky here, but I think the hinge of this case just feels a little bit weak, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was the first thing to break. Despite some of those design issues I have with the AirPods, I ended up keeping them because they are just so good. They've got the best audio quality of any earbuds I've personally owned, and if you get the chance, you should definitely try them out for yourself. The audio's got a cleanness to it, which just sounds really premium, and when you are listening to music, it's really easy to hear all the different layers of a track because the sound is so clean. The audio quality also works really well with immersive games. I'm currently playing Baldur's Gate 3, and the directional audio works really well to transport you into the game when you're listening out for those important sounds around the environment. I'd say the audio quality is easily one of the best things about the AirPods. Disclaimer though, I wouldn't say they have that much bass, if that's your thing. I think the bass it does have is more than good enough, but it is just something to keep in mind. Another thing the AirPod Pros got right was the touch controls, and I know some people have mixed opinions on this, but personally, I think it's all very intuitive. Instead of your regular touching controls, AirPod Pros feature more of a pinching system, which does take a while to get used to, but it's easy once you are. In particular, I found controlling the volume by swiping up and down on the stem here to be a lot more reliable than some other earbud controls. Moving on to ANC and transparency mode, which these things do really well, much better than I thought they would actually. While noise cancellation doesn't block out everything, it does block out about 90% of your external background noise, which for me is more than good enough. I'd say these are like a 7, 8 out of 10 when it comes to noise cancellation. Transparency mode though is a definite 9, 9.5 out of 10. And when transparency mode is this good, you'll just find yourself using it a lot more. The AirPod Pros are really good at making ambient noises sound really natural, so it's easy to keep these in your ear while you're having those passing conversations. If you're looking for strong ANC and transparency mode capabilities with your next pair of earbuds, I'd defo consider picking up a pair of AirPods. So I guess that was a short summary of the main things I do and don't like about the AirPod Pros. Now they do feature a bunch of other things like lossless audio support and adaptive sound, but if I'm honest, for my personal usage, these things haven't made a significant impact on my listening experience. I guess if I had to say one more thing I do like about the AirPod Pros, it's how well they connect to other Apple products. You know, if you have an iPhone, a Mac or an iPad, they're really good at jumping between devices as you lock and unlock things. But I don't have that much experience using these within an Android or Windows environment. So if any of you guys do, it'll be really interesting to hear your thoughts down below. Cool, so I think that's it for this one. If you reached the end of the video, thank you for watching. Consider dropping a sub and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.